Welcome to Choose CHQ, Live CHQ, a new series here brought to you by the Chautauqua County Industrial Development Agency and the Chautauqua County Partnership for Economic Growth, and of course, broadcast right here on CCS TV, a great collaboration between our agencies as well as a great program here in Chautauqua County. I'm Jason Sample, your host. I'm with both the IDA as well as the Chautauqua County Partnership for Economic Growth. And each month, we take a deep dive into economic development, business development, and initiatives that work to move Chautauqua County forward for the betterment of our entire community. That being said, what better way to start this series than to have two guests joining us today that are from the Partnership for Economic Growth. In the studio today, we have both Josiah Lamp as well as Monica Simpson, who work with me closely on the Partnership for Economic Development side through the Partnership for Economic Growth, and we thought it would be great to share details about the partnership, what it is, what it does, and how it helps to keep things moving forward. So with that being said, Josiah, Monica, thanks for joining us today. Happy to have you here, and again, we really wanted to just give our viewers an opportunity and folks in the community an opportunity to learn more about the Partnership for Economic Growth. I think a lot of municipalities and a lot of our community leaders are aware of the partnership, but for the everyday residents and the people who spend a great deal of time in Chautauqua County, it's still somewhat of a nebulous initiative, even though it's been around now for close to 6 or 7 years. We're going to go over all the details of what the partnership does, how it helps the community, highlight some of the key initiatives, and just try to make people have a better understanding of what we do. So thanks again for coming into the studio today. With that being said, Josiah, maybe a good place to start is just explain what is the Chautauqua County Partnership for Economic Growth, or as we like to call it, the partnership.
Let's keep it simple, right?
Yeah.
So in short, the partnership is a convener of economic development partners and resources that work on to develop projects for Chautauqua County to help make Chautauqua County a better place to live, to work, to do business. And so we do that primarily through our 5 work group areas. You know, traditionally economic development focuses primarily on business development, which is really important. That is one of our work groups. But we see it also as a little bit broader. That includes placemaking, infrastructure, housing development, and workforce development. And by working together in all these different work groups, they're supporting each other and making our county more economically stronger. And, you know.
I was going to say this, I think we talked about this before the program started, is that sometimes people will conflate the partnership with the IDA. Not the same thing.
Correct. Yeah, no, the partnership is an initiative of the IDA and the Chautauqua Region Economic Development Corporation, which is a nonprofit entity. It's not an organization itself, but it's more of a coalition or a public-private convening of people and resources to try to work on projects.
All right. So it's in the name, partnership. So how does the initiative function then to create a partnership across all of Chautauqua County? Because Chautauqua County is a big place with a lot of interesting, unique, diverse communities.
Yeah, so we work with our partners. Some of those are our municipalities, our cities. That includes towns and villages throughout the county, all the different geographies. We also work across sectors. So that includes the nonprofit sector, that includes businesses, that includes other community stakeholders who are part of our different work groups as well as our advisory board. Our advisory board meets quarterly to provide direction and strategy for the partnership. And then, but the meat and potatoes of the work that we do is in our work groups.
And that's kind of where Monica comes in as the partner engagement coordinator. Monica, coming in and talk a little bit about the functions of our work groups, why it's important to have these different work groups and different people sitting at the table among these work groups.
Yeah, well, we have the 5 work groups that are up on the TV screen. So really, this is where ideas turn into action. Each one of our work groups brings people together from across the county. So like Josiah said, it's public, private, business professionals focusing on a specific area. We're bringing speakers with related topics. And we also talk about, real barriers. How can we align resources and how can we move forward with these projects in the community so they don't have to. So we help the communities with their projects as well as nonprofits and other organizations as well. But the conversations we have there really make an impact, and I think we're really making a difference.
I think so as well, and not just because we're so closely involved with the partnership, but even folks who don't work directly in the partnership that come to these meetings are like impressed that you have somebody from Dunkirk talking with somebody from Westfield, sitting next to somebody from Jamestown or
Mm-hmm.
Falconer,
Yep.
and they're all comparing notes, sharing what they're doing, and also trying to figure out ways to work together and collaborate, again, to move things forward. So it's really...
Right, and how did we learn what worked, what doesn't, and talking to someone from across the county is super important because they might have more in common with Sherman and Cassadaga than you think. They have some of the same challenges, so having those people meet together is super important. And sometimes that's the only time that these stakeholders can meet. So it's a great way for us to get the right people in the right room.
Right on. Well, let's talk more about the partnership in just a moment. We're going to take a quick break, and on the other side, we're going to go take a deeper dive into the partnership, what Josiah and Monica do specifically to help keep things moving forward, as well as highlight some initiatives. So we have a lot more to come on this episode of Choose CHQ, Live CHQ. Stick around, more to come. And welcome back to Choose CHQ, Live CHQ, our monthly series focusing on economic development and business development in Chautauqua County, brought to you, of course, by the CCIDA and the Chautauqua County Partnership for Economic Growth. We're continuing our conversation about the partnership with Josiah Lamp as well as Monica Simpson, and we're going to talk a lot about the initiatives that we've been working on for the past 5 years, maybe looking ahead as well. But really quickly, let's try to clarify or explain, how does the partnership function in terms of operating costs being covered? What basically covers the funding for the operation, as well as some of the grant funding that's provided through the partnership?
Yeah, great question. The partnership is largely funded through either regional or local foundations. And we have a great partner in the Ralph C. Wilson Jr. Foundation, who's supported this since really the beginning. And instrumental in funding capacity as well as funding a pool of money that we can use to re-grant in our community for economic development projects, which we'll talk about a little bit more in detail later. We also have good partners with the Northern Chautauqua Community Foundation, who have been investing in our capacity also from really the very beginning, and the Gebby Foundation, who with on a project along with the city of Jamestown to revitalize an area of the downtown Jamestown.
And so obviously you provide funding as well, and this is sort of where you draw the line between what the IDA does for-profit business enterprises and nonprofit or governments. The partnership really takes care of the second half, right? And that funding is also covered through that grant funding support?
Yeah, as I mentioned, we have a pool of funds from the Ralph C. Wilson Jr. Foundation that can be used to re-grant in the community. It's not a loan, it's a grant that goes out, usually $10,000 to $20,000 for municipalities, nonprofits, or other economic development organizations to help catalyze projects for their communities.
Right. Rarely businesses are eligible for these funds, though. And I sometimes will get a phone call, hey, do you have a grant that's available for my small business that could really help push us to the next level?
Yeah, correct.
That's when you talk to the IDA.
Correct, yep.
Right on. So, Josiah, what do you do specifically as a program manager?
I manage the day-to-day operations of the partnership. Sometimes that's working with Monica on our work group meetings, setting the agenda, facilitating those meetings, but also helping to move all of our projects forward. We have projects that both we administer as well as projects that our partners administer. So in some cases that's writing grants and then managing those grants. In some cases, providing technical assistance to our local municipalities and other community partners.
We have a relatively small staff, and there's a lot of moving parts and a lot of balls in the air at one time, so you're really the juggler who helps to keep things all in the air at the same time and keeping an eye on them. But Monica works just as importantly with our partners, hence the Partner Engagement Coordinator title, and you've really been the longest serving member of our staff and of our team, right? Monica, you came on board right at the beginning?
Yep, in May of 2020 during COVID, and I love what I do. I went from Economic Development Specialist to Partner Engagement Coordinator, which really is great with my strengths. My job is really about connection and momentum. I work with all of our stakeholders. I also run the Economic Growth Fund. I coordinate the meetings, facilitate the meetings, sharing information, helping our partners access resources, making sure good ideas don't get stuck is really what we want to be there, be the helping hand, turning it into action. I love talking to people, and so it's a great job for me to really coordinate these meetings and keep the ball rolling while he's keeping it in the air.
Right on. We got a lot to talk about in terms of the initiatives we do. Let's talk a little bit about them right now, and then we'll take a break after we talk about maybe one or two of them. But what are some of the key projects and initiatives the partnership has been involved with since its inception, going back 6 years now?
Well, that Economic Growth Fund has been our longest standing, and it's matching funds to help high impact priority projects move forward across Chautauqua County. So a lot of times it's leveraging funds. So to understand what leveraging funds are, say a municipality has a grant for $75,000, they got to come up with $10,000 to get that from. So we can kind of help with the gap funding, so we can do the cash match. And some of our successful projects are, one of my favorite ones is Hartley Park. So the grant funds could be used for leveraging or getting ready for a grant. So that's our technical assistance. So we provided technical assistance, which led to a very large grant, which helped them gap their fundraising goals. And then also another one is in Forestville. And we helped them with a master plan, which led to a New York Main Street grant. So we're kind of helping you get ready, get all the pieces together, telling the story of each one of these beautiful places, and then getting them ready for grant applications, which is a long process. It's a lot longer than you think. Sometimes it takes years to get to get things together, but getting the community involved and getting these great grant writers, or internally or externally, we help with that.
And the Economic Growth Fund, full disclosure, we're recording this in early 2026, but it happens annually, and usually at the start of the year is when the cycle gets rolling. So folks who may be watching this immediately, it might be a little too late to apply for anything if you haven't done so already, but you can wait till 2027.
Yep, we bring it back every year. So.
Other initiatives that we work on, the big one, of course, is in the title of this program, Choose CHQ, Live CHQ. Live CHQ is something I could probably talk a lot about, but I know that you also have worked closely on this program from the get-go, even before I joined the team.
Yeah, it's something close to my heart. I love telling the story of Chautauqua County. It's about telling about affordable living, good jobs, strong communities, and the quality of life, helping people to return, like a boomerang, coming back to Chautauqua County, moving to Chautauqua County. We just want to really tell that story and share it with the community to be really the positive people, spreading the story of how great Chautauqua County is and telling beyond our borders.
Right. It sort of works both internally and externally. We want folks outside of the area, but we also try to make sure our stakeholders are aware. Employers have really latched onto it, and that's exciting as well, to have places like Jamestown Public Schools or Brooks Hospital leverage it to recruit the next doctor or the next teacher to come into the community and, hey, your business sounds great, but what's it like living there? And we can point them now to Live CHQ.
Yeah,
it's
it
really
could be the deciding factor of really what sells them on Chautauqua County. We've heard many of those stories where our help, the Live CHQ, has helped them.
We probably could do a whole episode on Live CHQ, so we'll put the brakes on it for now. Maybe later on this year we can focus more on Live CHQ and sharing details. What we'll do right now is take a break. Obviously, our first show of this series, Choose CHQ, Live CHQ, brought to you by the County of Chautauqua Industrial Development Agency and the Chautauqua County Partnership for Economic Growth, who are our guests today. We're going to take another break, and on the other side, we'll bring you some more details on key initiatives that the partnership has been working on. Stick around, more to come. And welcome back to Choose CHQ, Live CHQ here on CCS TV. Again, we're talking about the Partnership for Economic Growth with Josiah Lamp and Monica Simpson. I'm Jason Sample, and let's continue with our conversation about the key initiatives that we've been working on and try to breeze through these, because you probably could spend 5 hours talking about initiatives the partnership has been on. What are some of the highlights, Josiah, besides the Economic Growth Fund and Live CHQ?
Well, I really want to highlight one of our key projects, which is along the Chautauqua River in the city of Jamestown. You know, our waterfronts are key economic development opportunities, and we have a stretch of the riverfront in Jamestown that's underutilized. So we've been working with the city of Jamestown and the Gebbe Foundation to activate the area of the riverfront behind the National Comedy Center into a public space that can be used with a new kiosk and an entry and parking, as well as a kayak launch and a new dock. So these are some of the new elements that are in the works. They've been planned for a little while, and construction is on pace for sometime later this year.
Shout out to Christy Kathman for helping us out with that, another member of the partnership team who's not with us today. Monica mentioned this earlier on, technical assistance that we provide. We've worked with communities to help them land some big money to help with economic development in the county, right?
Yeah, New York State has a competition. It's actually two pots of funding. One is the Downtown Revitalization Initiative, DRI, and the other is the New York Forward grant program. One is for cities and the other is for small municipalities. And so we've worked closely with the city of Dunkirk to apply for the DRI. They were awarded the DRI, and we're able to continue to support that program that they're successfully running right now, as well as the village of Westfield applied for the New York Forward and was granted that last year. And they're in the early stages of implementing a $4.5 million program, New York Forward program. And then this last year, with the application round, we were working with the city of Jamestown with their DRI application, as well as applications from the village of Faulkner, the village of Sherman, and the town of Mina for New York Forward. So providing some technical assistance to them in the application process so that they can access these significant pots of money.
Especially these smaller communities that don't even have a part-time development position on their staff. To have the partnership step in and assist them with those applications is huge.
Yeah, happy to do that.
We don't just work with municipalities and nonprofits, we also work with individuals and help them get connected, right, Monica, through a program that started outside of the partnership but now has come into the fold.
Yes, CHQ professionals, otherwise known as Northern Chautauqua Young Professionals. We're countywide, we're inclusive, doesn't matter what age. But really, we're a community building network. So we host coffee meetups. We had a virtual coffee meetup. Now we're having in-person coffee meetups all across the county. We have educational workshops. We do philanthropic endeavors, and we support local pride and welcome. We're very welcoming to new people or people that just want to get connected in the community. You want to learn about volunteer opportunities. You want to go read to kids. We're just the people that connect you to what you need to get in order to be successful in Chautauqua County. So if you're new or you've been here for a while but just feel like you're not experiencing the entire county, we can help you get connected.
Yeah, the workshops have been great, and the coffee meetups have been a lot of fun too. So really, that's a great way to bring people together who don't necessarily get involved with the partnership directly, but still want to learn about other professionals in the area. So that's really a great initiative. Paint CHQ is something that launched in 2025, correct?
Yep.
Yes, so it's a countywide public art initiative with a mural festival. We had them, our first inaugural one was this year. We had Faulkner, Sherman, and Westfield. We had community events, we had artist talks, and also unveiling of the finished murals. Dunkirk is coming in 2026. But it's a great way, it's just designed to create beautiful art, but also support placemaking, celebrating local identity, drawing visitors, supporting local pride, and helping downtowns feel more welcome and active. I love seeing all the murals, and there's also a trail of all the murals that are across Chautauqua County, including the 3 new ones as well as other ones that are established. So it's a beautiful program. It's really created a larger response in connecting with artists across Chautauqua County, which maybe we didn't have a connection with before.
Right on. And Rebecca Worster from County Planning Department also works with the partnership and helped assist spearheading that effort with a great consultant, Alex Hall. And I believe we'll try to do it again, at least with one location in the county in 2026. Finally, just really quickly, speaking of placemaking, outdoor activity abounds in Chautauqua County. That's because of a collaborative effort called the Friends of the Chautauqua County Greenways.
Yep, collaborative outdoor recreation, a trail building a group housed under the partnership. Its mission is to bring together local trails, municipalities, conservation partners and volunteers to advance the county's Greenway plan. So they're expanding and improving on our existing trails, promoting our outdoor living, which is part of our Live CHQ, and conserving our natural resources and positioning Chautauqua County as a destination for outdoor adventure.
CHQtrails.org is the interactive trails map, so anybody out there who wants to learn where to go outside in Chautauqua County, check out that map. You'll find a public map for all activities. I'd love to talk more about that, but again, maybe later on this year we'll have more about the Friends of the Chautauqua County Greenways. In the meantime, we want to close with talking about some of the things we've been working on and looking ahead here. So maybe, Josiah, a good way to wrap things up here is just talk about a couple of initiatives that's teeing things off for the remainder of this decade.
Yeah, so the launched in 2020 with a 5-year economic development strategy. And so we've passed that 5-year point. And so in the last fall, we've been working with our partners to see what needs to be adjusted. We see a lot of projects that can continue to work on, but the situation's changed slightly since 2020, and so we're putting a new economic development strategy for the next 5 years. That's nearing completion. Worked really hard to get that, and we want the public to know about the strategy. So that will be published here sometime later this spring, and we'll get that word out to the community.
And we also have a case study. It's not intended to pat ourselves on the back, although it's nice to sort of tell everyone what we've been involved with, but it's also going to be a useful tool for other counties around New York State and maybe the region, right?
Yeah, you know, as I mentioned earlier, we worked very closely with the Ralph C. Wilson Foundation since the inception of the partnership, and they've asked us to put together a case study on how things came about here in Chautauqua County. And I think for them, you know, rural development is a challenge, and so what we've been able to accomplish in a more rural community, we want to get the word out to other communities so that they might be able to benefit from anything that we've learned at this time.
You know what I've learned is we got to have longer than a half an hour to talk about all this. I'm going to give you've been here the longest, Monica, so I'm going to give you the last word. Being here since the beginning and looking ahead, any thoughts or final thoughts, I should say, about the partnership and where things sit and where things are going?
Yeah, it's nice to see the forward momentum. So we're taking all these ideas and we're going from the implementation phase to actually projects going forward, and you know, our partnerships are getting stronger, our communities feel more confident, and there's a real sense of things moving forward, and we're not working in silos anymore.
Right on. We're definitely not. And the best is yet to come for Chautauqua County with Choose CHQ and Live CHQ. We've got about a minute left here, so let's just try to memorize all of our websites where people can go to find more information. The partnership's website's easy enough to remember, right? It's
Yes.
chqpartnership.org.
Yes.
And if you want to learn more about Critic or the IDA or the partnership, you can also just go to choosechq.com. Or if you want to learn about Live CHQ, you can go to livechq.org. If you want to learn about outdoor trails, chqtrails.org is another place you can go to. And I think that about covers it. Am I overlooking any of our main initiatives or landing spots online? Social media, obviously Facebook, Instagram, the usual suspects. And this video will be shown on both CCS TV as well as on our own YouTube channel for the partnership and probably even the IDA as well. I got to cover all our bases. So with that being said, Josiah, Monica, been a lot of fun. We'll do it again in another month or so. In the meantime, I want to thank everyone and CCS TV, Jackson Kresge, as well as our good friend Justin Gould for helping us out here. We've got another episode coming up next month, so stick around. More to come right here on Choose CHQ, Live CHQ. Thanks for watching.